The Dromedaries. By now, most Christians are familiar with Jeremiah chapter 10, where he talks about the tree and not to learn the ways of the nation. Who is not familiar with Matthew's gospel and Luke's gospel that tell the birth of Messiah? The entire world knows, and about 100% of Christianity believes the grossly misinterpreted message of the birth of Messiah. Sunday after Sunday and year after year, Christian preachers continue to endorse, practice, and tell a lie from their pulpits. I've only run across a few preachers of the Bible that dared to rightly divide the truth as it relates to the birth of Messiah. This video will reveal a portion of the birth of Messiah from a prophetic viewpoint. The text of Scripture you may not be familiar with because your pastor or Sunday school teacher never, ever made reference to the following prophetic text. Looking at the text exegetically, how can you say it has nothing to do with the coming of Messiah? Let's look. I am using the scriptures, ISR 2009, because I believe the translation reads clearer in the KJV. Yeshayahu chapter 60 verse 5, the book of Isaiah.
Then you shall see and be bright, and your heart shall throb and swell, for the wealth of the sea is turned to you. The riches of the nations come to you.
Notice in this verse, the prophet is setting you up for what is about to come. He is giving you the preface of the visitation of the birth of Messiah. He wastes no time in opening your eyes. Yeshayahu chapter 60 verse 6.
A stream of camels cover your land, the dromedaries of Midian and Ephah, all those from Sheba come, bearing gold and incense, and proclaiming the praises of Yahuwah.
Can you not see this is prophetic, referring to the birth of Messiah? This is the only place in the Bible where you see the phrase gold and incense in that sequence about Messiah. The other place is the fulfillment in Matthew's Gospel, chapter 2, verse 11.
And coming into the house, they saw the child with Miriam, his mother, and fell down and did reverence to him. And opening their treasures, they presented to him gifts of gold and frankincense and myrrh.
Let's first identify a dromedary. This is a dromedary. It is a one-hump camel. A caravan of these camels crossed the desert in about 3 to 5 BC, following his star. According to some sources, in ancient times, a caravan could consist of 500 to 12,000 people. But that's probably a little too much for your Christmas lie. You would rather stick with your undocumented 3 kings. This is the open desert they traveled, solely by a bright star. Nowhere in the Bible is the declaration from the Most High saying, I will protect you for the 30 days or so you have to travel. Because the Most High did not interfere with their cultural belief and practice. He allowed them to travel their way based on their method. Caravan. 500 or more people traveled. Here is that verse, translated from the Amplified Bible.
A multitude of camels from the eastern trading tribes shall cover you, Jerusalem, the young camels of Midian and Ephah, all the men from Sheba who once came to trade shall come bringing gold and frankincense and proclaiming the praises of the Lord.
Now, what's interesting about this translation from the Amplified Bible, in the cross-reference, it has Matthew 2 and 11. So obviously, the translators of this Amplified Bible in Isaiah 60 and 6 knew that this was a reference to the birth of Messiah. And the translator said it was a multitude of camels. Typically, a multitude would consist of more than 3 people. And we know, according to ancient times, 3 kings would not dare to cross the open desert over a 30-day or more journey without security and supplies. This portion is just practical and common sense. Nowhere in the Bible is the declaration from the Most High saying, I will protect you for the 30 days or so you have to travel. Because the Most High did not interfere with their cultural belief and practice. He allowed them to travel their way based on their method. Caravan, 500 or more. And the rest was a biblical sand show on a grand scale. Behold, the dromedaries of kings, servants, and security may have looked like this. Look how happy the dromedaries were to be a part of this biblical event that shook the world and would ultimately topple earthly kingdoms along with their earthly kings. You must take into account the gifts presented to Messiah was carried on separate camels bearing their own load. This would have been a stream of camels, as mentioned in the text, along with the kings riding their own camel. Obviously, this would increase the caravan exponentially. kings arrived at the house, according to the Gospel of Matthew. They did not see the babe in the field along with the shepherds. They would have laid eyes upon the young child with his mother. This presentation is 100% in line with prophetic scripture and destroys the traditional Christmas card presentation of the shepherds and the kings together in the field. Undoubtedly, the kings would have been presenting gold bars instead of a small jar of gold. The gold would have been packed on a separate camel, along with the incense and myrrh on separate camels. The fact the kings were traveling with precious cargo, they would have been assisted with servants and servants and servants. This again would increase the caravan exponentially. The visit of the Magi on their dromedaries is unmatched by any representation of the traditional pagan Christmas celebration. The heavens rang out with a song of adoration, and the kings of the earth swarmed upon Bethlehem en masse, unlike any birth of its kind.